Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be factoring trinomials. Let's look at our first example here, x squared plus 7x plus 10. I need to find two numbers when I multiply needs to give me 10. Those same two numbers when I add or subtract needs to give me 7. So let's look at some examples to see. So first we have 1 and 10. Yes, if I multiply 1 and 10, that's going to give me 10. But if I add 1 and 10, that's going to give me 11. So we know we cannot use the numbers 1 and 10. Next, let's try -1 and -10. So -1 plus -10, this is going to give me -11. And then if you multiply -1 times -10, that's going to give you a +10. And as you can see, no, we cannot use this either because we're looking for 7 when I add or subtract, and I'm looking for 10 when I multiply. So now let's try 2 and 5. I have a +2 and a +5. So as you can see, if I multiply 2 times 5, this is going to give me 10. And also if I add 2 plus 5, this is going to give me a +7. So far, 2 and 5 is looking like the winner. And then if I do -2 and then -5, let's say you didn't know, -2 times -5. So if I do -2 times -5, this is going to give you a +10. And then if you add -2 plus -5, this is going to give you -2 minus 5, and this is going to give you a -7. So as you can see, -2, -5 is not the correct answer. So the numbers that we can use to factor is going to be a 2 and a 5, because remember, when I multiply 2 times 5, I get 10. And then those same two numbers, when you add or subtract, needs to give you 7, which is what we have here. So now I'm going to factor. So we know 2 and 5 are going to be my numbers. So I have an x here, and then I'm going to have my +2 here, and then plus my +5 here. If I had to check my work, let's say you're not sure. So if you were to check your work, so we have x plus 2 and then x plus 5. So we're going to do x times x. This is going to be x squared plus x times 5. This is going to be 5x plus 2 times x. This is going to be 2x. And then 2 times 5, that's going to be 10. So then we have x squared, which is right here, plus 5x plus 2x. This is going to give me 7x, and then plus 10. And as you can see here, I cannot factor any further. So when you check your answer, it's supposed to take you back to your original problem on top. What about x squared minus 6x plus 8? So we need two numbers. When you multiply is going to give you 8. Those same two numbers, when you add or subtract, is supposed to give you a -6. So the two numbers that come to mind is going to be 2 and 4. And then here, I'm just going to do -2 and -4 because we're trying to find out which one it is. So let's write both to see. So 2 times 4, if I multiply 2 times 4, this is going to equal 8. And then if I add 2 plus 4, this is going to give me a +6. So as you can see here, this is fine because I have a +8. But my answer here, I need a -6, so I cannot use this +2 and a +4. So this is not going to be able to work. Now let's try -2 and then -4. So if I do -2 times -4, this is going to give me a +8. Good. And then if I add -2 plus -4, let's see what we get. -2 minus 4. -2 minus 4 is a -6. And this is what we're looking for. So I have my +8 and then I have my -6 here. So that's perfect, which matches -6 here and then my +8 here. Now we're going to go ahead and factor. So I have my x's right here. So that means I'm going to have x minus 2 here and then x minus 4 here. So your answer is going to be x minus 2 and then times x minus 4. And remember, if you need to check your work, so let's check to see. If I check my work, x times x, this is going to be x squared. X times -4 is -4x. -2 times x is -2x. And then negative 2 times, this is going to give you a positive 8. So you have x squared minus 6x plus 8. And as you can see, it takes us back to the original problem. So we know negative 2 and negative 4 is correct. What about x squared minus x minus 12? We are looking for two numbers. When you multiply together is going to give you a negative 12. Those same two numbers, when you add or subtract, is supposed to give you a negative 1. Remember, you have your imaginary 1 right here in front of your x. And those numbers are going to be 3 and 4. So I'm going to put 3 and 4 here. And then here I'll do negative 3 and negative 4. So we can see which one is the correct answer. So if I do 3 plus 4, this is going to equal 7. And then if I multiply 3 times 4, this is going to equal 12. You have 7 and 12, and I cannot use positive 3 and positive 4 because we're looking for a negative 1 and a negative 12 is what we're looking for. So now let's come down here with two negatives. So if I do negative 3 times negative 4, this is going to give me a positive 12. And then if I add negative 3 plus negative 4, let's see what we get here. Negative 3 minus 4, this is going to give you a negative 7. So as you can see, we still didn't get what we're looking for. So we have a positive 12 here and then a negative 7 here. So now let's try a positive 3 and then a negative 4 to see. So if I have 3 and a negative 4, so we have 3 times negative 4, this is going to give me negative 12. Now we're going to add. So 3 plus my negative 4. So this is going to equal 3 minus 4, and 3 minus 4 equals negative 1. So as you can see, I have my negative 12, which is what we have here, and then my negative 1, which is what we have here. So I'm going to place my x in here inside the parentheses. And then remember, you have a positive 3 and a negative 4. So I'm going to do x plus 3 and then x minus 4. So let's go ahead and check our work. So we have x plus 3 and then times x minus 4. So x times x, this is going to give me x squared. X times negative 4, this is going to be negative 4x. 3 times x, this is going to be a positive 3x. And then 3 times negative 4, this is going to be a negative 12. So you have x squared, and then you have negative 4x plus 3x. This is going to give you here, this is going to give you a negative 1x minus 12. And as you can see, it's going to take you back to your original problem. So your final answer here is going to be x plus 3 times x minus 4. X squared plus 4x minus 12. I need two numbers. When you multiply, it's going to give me a negative 12. Those same two numbers, when you add or subtract, needs to give us a positive 4. And the two numbers we have is going to be 6 and 2. So if I multiply 6 times 2, this is going to give me 12. And then if I add 6 plus 2, this is going to give me 8. So we know 6 and 2 is not going to be the correct answer because we're looking for a negative 12 and then we're looking for a positive 4. However, let's go ahead and see if we can switch some signs around. So if I do 6 and a negative 2, let's see what we get here. So 6 times negative 2, this is going to equal negative 12. And then you have 6 plus negative 2. This is going to equal 6 minus 2, and 6 minus 2 is going to equal 4. So as you can see here, this is what we're looking for because I have my negative 12, which is what we have here, and then we have a positive 4, which is what we're looking for here. So the numbers to give me that is going to be a positive 6 and a negative 2. So you're going to do x here, you're going to add plus 6 and then minus 2. And this is your final answer here. Let's look at this example here, x squared minus 17x plus 70. So we need to factor. I need two numbers. When you multiply is going to give me 70. Those same two numbers, when you add or subtract, needs to give us a negative 17. And the first two numbers that come to mind is going to be 7 and the number 10. If I multiply 7 times 10, this is going to give me 70. However, if I add 7 plus 10, this is going to give me 17. So it looks like we are almost there. We're close, except I'm looking for a negative 17. How can I get a negative 17? And the only way to get that is going to be if I work with negative 7 and negative 10. So now let's see what we get. So negative 7 times negative 10, this is going to give you a positive 70. And then you have negative 7 plus negative 10. Let's see, negative 7 minus 10, and this is going to give you a negative 17. So as you can see, we did receive a positive 70 and a negative 17 here, which is what we have here. So now we know that it's going to be a negative 7 and a negative 10. So x minus 7 here, and then x minus 10 here. Now let's go ahead and check our work to see. X times x is x squared. X times negative 10, negative 10x. Negative 7 times x, this is minus 7x. And then negative 7 times negative 10 is a positive 70. So now you're going to have x squared. You're combining like terms here. So negative 10x minus 7x is going to give you 17x. And that's a negative 17x. And then plus 70. So as you can see, you are going to get the same answer that you started with. All right, so that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.